is your April 2025 soul story. If you have a sun, rising or moon in the sign, it's your reading. Thanks so much for joining me on the channel. It's Romy. I appreciate you. We're going to open up for you this month with the energy of the Eight of Swords. Now, I want to say to you, you know, like when doing the right thing, it's not always easy. What it asks of you, or perhaps what it takes from you, because I feel that this Eight of Swords is actually connected to somewhat of a moral dilemma that you're going to be facing in the month of April. I think the thing is, though, at a deeper level, you're feeling this inextricable pull in the direction of something, and it's perhaps that inner conflict that you're being faced with, where you know what you should do, what you want to do, what you need to do, what you must do at a soul level, but there's just also this understanding of what that means, right? So maybe in the beginning of the month, you know, that feels very unresolved in your mind, and maybe it's creating a landscape energetically that feels a little bit challenging for you. However, what I want to say about April is that the first week of the month can actually be quite supportive. Now, on the 3rd, we have Venus conjunct the North Node, and there's something quite fated about the signs, the experiences, the sensory awareness, the conversations that you're having. So really take note, because they will provide some sort of illumination around the way forward, and it will feel resonant for you. There'll be just something that lands that you're like, yeah, I know that this is what I have to do, even if I don't like it, or even if it feels super uncomfortable. Then the 4th and the 6th bring through some harmonious days for us, astrologically speaking, okay? So it just feels like you're getting some support from destiny almost, okay? Now, is anything ever straightforward in life? No. What are you moving through in Aries energy? It's your 8th house, right? So what are we talking about? It's resources, it's money, separation, birth, death, taxes, all the light stuff, right? But honestly, sometimes the light is not the only teacher, and you know, there is something about what lives in the hidden path that leads to what is really, what is desired, and what is maybe at times not confronted and not fully understood or acknowledged by you. So yes, we're having to sort of move through some of that and all of the ways that those themes can be triggered, right? And we have a whole sort of dominance of fire energy in April, so there's a lot getting stirred up. But you have the world coming through here. Now, this is the major arcana, so what we're also seeing is that there is a completion. There's a sense of a conclusion coming. Whether you're able to arrive at that conclusion yourself or the universe sort of dictates it for you, but that can bring about a freeing situation. She looks incredibly liberated as she swings there. And there's something about the journey and the experience, what it's taken for you to get to this point, that is also incredibly important, because these are the things that shape us, right? And, you know, there's this realization that I think the stress is sort of almost worth it. It's almost just like you have to go through some of that challenge to get on the right side of yourself. And by the time we get to the 12th, bearing in mind that Mercury, your ruler, is going to station direct in Pisces on the 7th, so that's going to be super supportive. That's also in your 7th house of relationships, so it feels like something gets resolved. Then we've got the full moon Libra, Venus going direct on the same day, and this really powerful conversation with Chiron as this Cazimi comes in, Chiron in Aries. So yes, you know, again, some of those conversations a little bit uncomfortable, right? But there's something around that time that strikes a deep heart chord with you, Virgo. There's a yearning of sorts, an awareness of perhaps what has held you back, and that's the work. There's the medicine. So there's this instant realization that comes in around the full moon. And you've been through a lot in this last month of March, okay? We had Venus and Mercury retrograde. We had all of the eclipses, the lunar eclipse in your sign. You know, the feeling of this anxiety and this stress around the completion or the unfolding, or perhaps getting to the end of a chapter, you know, is fairly clear in the opening part of this reading. But you know what it means. And you know what? If you don't, you can absolutely ask the universe, what is this trying to teach me? Because there's something about your responses. And remember, the anxiety and the anxiousness is about the perceived loss that you're leaning into in a future scenario, right? So it's also the stories that you start creating as a result of what you're going through. And any kind of shadow work is going to be casting up all sorts of things that are going to perhaps make you feel slightly uncomfortable. But hear me when I say this. April is a very healing month, but there is still friction for us to deal with. Now, what is going to help drive through the energy in the right way for you? It's your passion, it's the things that move you, and it's also the realization that you are going through an incredibly grounded period of transformation. Okay? So this shifting tide that you're feeling, if you like, is temporary. But the results of becoming this new person, of how you go on to define and embody the authenticity, how you manage this dilemma that feels like it's coming up for you in the month, you know, this is all pivotal in sort of helping you find solid ground for how you move forward. 10 of Cups. This is why I'm saying it's about what's destined, but also what's desired. And anything worth having involves some aspect of us having to leave behind the shore and embark on that voyage and really trust in ourselves. Okay? How you relate to others is changing. And I think that there's something about the tone of the conversations that you're having this month. And what I've been saying about April is often, you know, there's a lot of deeper, reflective, introspective energy that, you know, goes on in the build up to the beginning of this astrological year. But sometimes we just need to kind of get out of our own way and go back out and consume culture and art and beauty and friendship and connection and community, and go just live in a very physical earth, you know, way. And I think that that can do immeasurable amounts of benefit to just helping you sort of find some balance and lighten up with maybe some of the heavier energies that you've had to deal with. Now, that will feel a lot easier once the sun shifts into Taurus for you and you're in your 9th house. But anyway, let's return to this 10 of Cups and remind ourselves that, again, we've got completion here. We've got getting to a point in time where something feels like it's come together, right? We've got this happy family sort of situation, but it's what is striking the note in your heart space. So the thing that you yearn for, that you desire. And I want to say that there's more to this story. It's still in a process of becoming. So, you know, even though we have a conclusion energy that's kind of arrived at through the month of April, what you're also going to find is that, you know, you're continuing to add to this, and there's new things that are coming to light all the way through April that are very relevant to what is happening. Now, let's call out on the 14th, asteroid goddess Juno is going retrograde in Scorpio. She can stir up a little envy, a little sort of competitive jealousy. You know, there's a little bit of that's going on, particularly where you're reviewing, negotiating terms. And remember, on the same day, Saturn is conjunct the North Node. So there's a little bit of a karmic leveling moment, right? Where I would just say reality check, and perhaps in terms of your own feelings and emotions, or the behaviors and actions of others. Remember, Scorpio is going to bring things to light from the shadows. Scorpio connected into the 8th house, which you are moving through in Aries season. So, you know, be prepared for like one after the other of these like blinders that are coming up in terms of these maybe slightly more intense emotions and experiences. But at the same time, there's a big sense of kind of second chances in the month of April. What I mean by that is that we then have Mercury coming back into Aries on the 15th, Mars coming back into Leo on the 17th, and then later on the 30th, Venus coming back into Aries. So you're going to want to return back to the beginning of March with Mars and Leo, back to the beginning of November with Venus and Aries. You know, you're tracking back weeks ago, and you're remembering the thoughts that you were thinking, the inspirations that you had, the initiatory sort of experiences that were underway before you had to kind of stop or backtrack, or things came in to sort of disrupt that process. So the Six of Cups helps you to look back here, but in a way that's very supportive and progressive to enable you to kind of get going again, because April absolutely wants action. Okay, now there's a really sweet energy coming through with the 10 and the 6 here. So there's some nostalgia, but it's wrapped up with a lot of joyous, happy, positive memories, but also memories that you're making. So it's not just memories from the past, it's things that you're doing in April that will end up holding a very sacred space for you. Okay. In all of this fire energy, it's important to remember that we can feel a bit frustrated, or we can want to do everything all at once. You know, maybe some of the stress and anxiety is around the pressure that you feel to act, or that, you know, the action that you want to take, and just feeling like that restlessness and that sort of drive can also disrupt you a little bit when you're trying to sort of ground and level yourself out. Okay. Again, particularly if you're feeling this sense of some sort of dilemma that's hitting you, you know, that is going to add to the situation a little bit as well. Okay, so we have the sun shifting into Taurus from the 19th. I think that this is a really prominent time for you. Okay, coming into that higher awareness and understanding and finding solid ground, says the Four of Coins. We know what we're working with. The reality check that has happened through the month of April, the ability for you to move through the stress and come to the right conclusions, know what you're sort of aiming towards, what matters, what's important to you, and then building upon what you already have. Now, not being kind of, I don't want to say being too almost unaware. Do you know, it's kind like, I tell you what's coming through, it's almost like you're having the dialogue with yourself and you're just like, I'm gonna do this, and I know there's some risks, and I'm gonna do this, and here are all the reasons why I shouldn't, and I know I'm gonna do this, and it's kind of like this inner conflict that's going backwards and forwards. And I want to call out on the 20th, like Mars is opposing Pluto, which is quite a clashing sort of volatile energy to deal with, and you may well see some things on the collective stage playing out. And remember, there's always some sort of reverberation and a personal experience, you know, that will happen astrologically. It could just be a crisis point that you arrive at, you know, the sort of push-pull that's going on. And, you know, sometimes we then start to hold on or cling too tightly to something. I don't think the universe is allowing that really as a way forward for you anymore. It's kind of like, this is happening, get on board, like the train's left the station, Virgo. And I think the higher part of you, the higher awareness, your higher self, is absolutely in alignment with that. But sometimes, you know, there's more of a struggle happening on the ground level for us to kind of get on board with that, so to speak. So we have that energy, but then we build to the new moon in Taurus on the 27th, and something really important happens around that time. There's a realization of the power that you are, not the power that you seek, or, you know, the external force that you need to help validate yourself. It's just the realization of what you have within you, the gifts that you have, the degree of value that you bring to situations. And there's just something about, you know, knowing and remembering the knowledge and the wisdom, and being able to look at the experiences that have shaped you. And it gives you a huge sense of courage and confidence in understanding what the next right step is. And maybe it's at that point that you actually make peace with what this dilemma, I feel, that is surfacing through the month of April is about, and how to handle it and how to navigate forward with it. Okay, there is a sense that you may find situations around you sort of shutting down a little bit. Maybe there's people shutting down, or opportunities that you feel were there, and then, you know, then they've become much harder, or, you know, there's challenges that are cropping up, have no doubt. But at the same time, right, this is a month of grounded transformation. It's destined for you. So there is a path through this. It's just about understanding where that path is and opening your eyes to the best approach and the way for you to be able to kind of align with that, okay? So maybe there's a release of some expectations required, but at the same time, like what we're seeing here is something really clearly happening that you want, that you desire, and that is making you happy. At the same time, all the stress comes with it. Now, we know Virgo can get all up in your head over things, right? Overanalyze, overthink, over worry. But this is also about a big shift and change coming in for you in terms of wanting to do things differently. You know, you don't have to do more or be more or achieve more. You know, that was absolutely what that lunar eclipse was asking you to let go of. So if everything is shaken up, and if everything is changed, which it has, and if you've changed, which you have, then, you know, how can we do this a little bit differently? And at that moment, you can literally like snap your fingers and the stress can dissipate, the fear can fall away, the clarity can come. And I think that's what I really see happening. It's just like taking care of the part of yourself that's trying to hold you back and maybe even sabotage, limit, or, you know, cause some sort of block for you. So the work in the hidden path is so important, okay? Now maybe there's some money conversations going on, you know, maybe there's some stress attributed around that, but remember, you've also got completion and conclusion very strongly coming through in April. Okay, shifting tides. This is all about a month of fire, but also fate. Yeah. Now, if you're new to the channel, the last 3 cards we're going to look at in the extended reading, you can find the link in the comment and description box underneath, Virgo. We'll also look at a personal question and a relationship card. I hope you'll join me. I really appreciate your investment. It helps me continue to show up on the channel. So we're just going to go ahead and clarify the cards. Let's see where we're going to take this reading for you. Okay, 5 of Cups, 8 of Cups. I think, you know, the sort of realization of something dawning quite powerfully for you at the beginning of the month. But, you know, the energy of where it takes you, I think, is going to surprise you and going to be quite remarkable as you weave this interesting path of April. Okay, if you are new to the channel and haven't checked out my website, romywiser.com, you're going to find ways to work with me if you're after a personal reading. You're also going to discover my sacred tools, which include my journal, my new journal, my book, my oracle deck, sacred products like guided meditations, my reports, Angel and Goddess, my new astrocartography that's coming online, my membership. So there's so much wealth of information and inspiration for your journey, so please take a moment to go check it out, sign up to my newsletter, and you can also follow me on socials for my musings. Right, all the decks are listed below. Okay, right, let's have a look at Life Soul Vision Oracle. So this is my own deck. A lot of worry around you in April, Virgo. I feel like I want to say so much of it's unfounded. It's kind of really you know, you kind of maybe feeling like you don't have enough information, or maybe it's just this sort of conflict that you feel in regards to something. Okay, it's gonna be all right. It really is. Cosmic Rebellion, there we go. Sacred Soul Union, we've got Soothe Your Soul, but we've got that energy of the sun charged in light. That's what's giving you the power, the courage, the confidence, the self-belief. Okay, a couple more oracle cards for Virgo for the month of April. What do we have? We've got the Flame, so much fire, but it's bringing ingenuity for you. Okay. And then we're going to take a look at the Animal Spirit card for April, Virgo. What do we have? We've got the energy of the Moth, transformation. Okay, beautiful. Thank you for being here. Very much appreciate you. Hope you're going to join me on the extended. Take care. Have a great month of April. It's going to be revolutionary for you, okay? But remember, it's all about what's destined and desired. Take care.